I hope you're all doing well. We're all napping here. So yeah, wanted to get on and just kind of see, like, how are you guys feeling with this Cancer season? We are about to step into a new solar cycle with Leo. So the energy is like very heavy. It's kind of this deeper current right now. Yeah, I want to get in the chat and see how you guys are doing. And where is, like, the Cancer in everyone's chart? How have you guys been feeling? Let's back it up to the throat chakra. Many of you, I see a lot of generational shifts. Changes when it comes to family matters. Hey guys. Oh really? How so, Jania? Where's Cancer in your chart? Yeah, anxious for no reason. Well, it's I believe Mercury is also changing sides fairly soon. The new moon. We talked about this in the new moon reading. New moon is the recent new moon in Cancer. Yeah, let's go down my body sacral. Also important to know that you likely picking up on the energy of a lot of people around you. So, but yeah, new moon tends to be, especially the days leading into the new moon, very murky, very but yeah, see what comes up. It's a great time to sort of like observe, be an observer, like be more maybe passive. Not a great time around the new moon or the full moon to sort of judge yourself harshly and expect of yourself too many things. That can be hard because in the moment, it's kind of like we have only, you know, the last few to judge it by. It comes up on you. The new moon really, it can come up on you like a wave. Not to like freak anybody out, but you know when you're in the ocean and sometimes actually you can get like sucked down into the spiral. So you just have to kind of, yeah, as much as you can, feeling heat down the left side body, not resist the curve, because what comes up around the new moon is very telling. It's very important. It's kind of like symptoms. You really want to understand what you're feeling. To do that, you have to be open to feeling it so that you can then work through that energy or work with it, engage it, and then sort of reorient it once the new moon energy has sort of passed. So when that new moon hits, it's really a time where there's this sense of like stillness, which can be very, you know, the thing about, let's say, the period that is not the new moon or the full moon is it you really feel things are sort of moving. I mean, this is get some shut-eye in here. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Isaac. He's sleeping. Sheesh. I'm sorry, Isaac. Was that too loud, doll? Okay. So, the thing is, like, our mind is very engaged around the times that are other than the new moon or the full moon. The new moon is very watery. The full moon is very fiery. So, yin and yang. Around the time of the new moon and the full moon, like, meaning, like, not the new moon or the full moon necessarily, but it's more autopilot almost. Like, you're kind of so-called taking those energies for granted that then come up more pointedly, more fixedly, where you need to really it's like when you have the test in class, you know, like your final or your semi-final, You're more, interestingly, even at the new moon, passive, but more active. So actively engaged, because it's your subconscious, your subtle subconscious that's then on. It's kind of like spirit turns off. Things feel like they really slow down, and your mind is trying to grapple with that. That's why you may have anxiousness around the new moon. You may be fighting that energy. I am hearing generational curse energy as well. Well, this is Cancer, so yeah, definitely a lot of like, I see past life energies. I see immunum coeli, the lowest part of the birth, the fourth chart ruler. Yeah, a lot. You would be feeling people who are not really they were holding you back, and that was their momentum to not really be in your future energy space. You'll be feeling some nausea there. So the thing here, Cancer and Capricorn are polar energies. To get to the highest point in the birth chart, we have to anchor the lowest part. So right now we're sort of doing a tour of the south node. Naturally, right, if you look at the birth chart, right, Capricorn is very nodal, very north nodal energy. Northern being the highest point in the birth chart, right, the ruler of the 10th, the midheaven. Cancer is the pivot to that, and it is the lowest point. And so it's kind of like revisiting, okay, the soil for that seed. What are we actually manifesting? What is it that we're actually manifesting into our so-called future? Inviting into our experience. Who do we see ourselves as creator in that space? And what is it that we're releasing, seeing that more clearly? Probably at the last full moon, you saw certain things about what you wanted to manifest more clearly. And now it's sort of like, who actually assists in that space? Who is a hidden enemy of sorts, even, we'll say? Who is just not part of that fundamental, okay, that foundation? And that's something that, you know, you'll feel vicariously for others. People who wanted to be involved in your story but are not assisting you truly, those people will be illuminated and removed from your story. So, but that happens first on the energy plane before it happens and manifests, before it takes place physically in the 3D. So you're probably already picking up on what you, for instance, will be experiencing more physically, and you'll feel more, let's say, empowered about what it is. You'll feel more that it is an obvious energy in about 6 months, okay, at the next full moon, okay, in Cancer. Even when we have energies sprout in Capricorn, new moon and full moon in Capricorn, wow, you'll really appreciate the energy that you're working with right now from a completely new angle. So right now you may be feeling kind of vulnerable and testy. You'll be feeling what it is that others around you are resisting and not willing to release, especially if it is involving any really unhealthy cord attachment to your consciousness. So yeah, but in a nutshell, we when we turn towards a new moon, we actually, interestingly, right, we turn towards the active energy of identifying what we're manifesting, okay? Identifying what we're manifesting more clearly on the conscious plane. So it's kind of like we turn the lights down in the physical reality, we turn them up in the back end with spirit. Okay, it's a very spiritual time, but it takes time to shift gears, and it can really throw you off. Because, you know, you may not be expecting it. It's like, we just moved through a very physical, active energy space. And then now I'm feeling, you know, it's something that you probably felt a very sudden, jolting shift with. I say that usually, but we have had 3-4 planets retrograde, the rulers of 2 water signs, Pluto, Neptune, Pisces, and Scorpio. So personally, the last few months have just been kind of like, it's been a little bit weird, but yeah. In general, let's clear throat chakra, the new one. But I see you all, a lot of people here identifying hidden sharkish energies. Clearing, cleansing, detox is never easy, but it, you know, is necessary every so often. So with the new moon, we have to do this round. But let's clear it down the back, throat chakra. The interesting thing is that you would think, you know, I mean, why is that so controversial? Yeah, you'll see in about a year, you'll see in about 6 months, how important this was here, right? Sometimes, let's back it up. Many of you about to really, you're about to carry out some of your most amazing talent here, your most impressive works. Okay, clear throat chakra. Your most amazing works are about to take form and flight. So this period right now is where you really, you're getting in touch and in tune with, you're getting in touch with what it is that you need to possibly even talk more about. And it can be talking someone outside of that room in which you're talking to yourself. So it's something that maybe is very subtle. It's an influence, it's something that, like, yet again, your subconscious mind is picking up on, like, I'm not quite in alignment with something here. And that's where it's very uncomfortable for the mind, and the mind is trying to catch up with what it is your subtle higher mind is picking up on around the new moon. Your subtle mind is much faster than your logical mind. Your logical mind is lagging in comparison to your higher mind. Your higher mind is connected to what's happening with the collective as well. So it's kind of like you kind of are speaking the secret language with your higher self. Let's go back it up. That your mind is kind of feeling awkward about. So I just in a general sense recommend to not get too focused and fixated, easier said than done, but around the new moons, because it's not really helpful. Your mind is not going to really be able to get you through what it is that is coming up as a sort of like a backwater. Okay, it's like a gurgling of the subconscious. It's impossible to filter through it with your logical mind. Okay, it's a lot of past life energy, and I really would avoid talking to people who are, let's say, not into energy, not into these such things, rejecting. Okay, yeah, the explorative side of the how do we say, self-love energies, like people who are very hypercritical in shadow shadow toxic masculine energy, who refuse to transform their consciousness to lighter rather than denser energy wavelengths. I would avoid those contexts, those conversations, because it's just making it harder. It's making it heavier. It's like you need to take it easier on yourself around this time. So it's okay to sort of sit back and observe. Cancer is a very vulnerable part, though, of everybody's psyche space, right? Cancer is where we are open naturally to some force here, we'll say, right, of energy. We are here on planet Earth. We are being hosted. So subtly, we all know that we are not just here as an ego identity. Like subtly, we know, even as we would say the Cancer is the archetype of the Divine Mother, right? That we are here because of another person. So that's the metaphor. But being here on planet 3D as a so-called human, we are here because of a larger cause. So this is where we're sort of like not really able to fully embody that sense of ego. And so the trouble really comes for those who have the most trouble releasing the ego. Cancer will really test that. Are you being also humble? Are you being in a space of gratitude? Are you appreciating yourself and the things that you maybe need to listen to yourself more on? Okay, are you appreciating that maybe there are certain things that you need to sort of listen to yourself on? Okay, so are you appreciating that you are also vulnerable? Okay, sometimes here, I hear it like that. Maybe you've been going through a cycle where you've been really up on your A game, like you've been doing very so-called well. You maybe even been really feeling very, very firmly rooted in your Leo, your solar energy, your fire energy, right? We have had Venus and or even Mercury. Actually, is it Mercury? We'll be going into Leo, I think, with Mercury. But anyhow, I don't know if we're already in it. I don't remember the ephemeris there, but yeah, we've had Venus and Mars in Leo for some time, and Venus now has shifted. If I'm getting it right, Mars has shifted. I don't remember. I have to look back. We're going to talk more about this on members, on the monthly breakdown. We'll sort of get all into the nitty gritties, but yeah, we've been recently in a huge Leo season. So, and then it's like, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now this energy's coming up where we're really needing to sort of say it's okay. Like, it's okay if I felt really confident back there, and then now, it's all sort of like divine, and spirit is saying like there's a reason why we visit these different spheres of our story, because it's all important, right? You're not just going to be a Leo, you're not just going to be a Cancer, you're not just going to make what you make happen because you're able to connect with a certain compartmentalized energy of your story. It is really important that you are feeling spherical. I hear it like that. And you'll be very grateful for these times where you were very uncomfortable, where you had to sort of move in and out of certain diaphragms of energy, where you had to sort of understand more of yourself from the Cancerian side, where you had to get more in touch with your emotions, because having that experience, thank you, Spirit, having that experience is going to is the subconscious. You're going to understand more of where it is that you have seen yourself move towards, but it's like now in more 3D practice. So the new moon allows us to get ready for how we will physically embody those energies and those attributes, okay, around the full moon. Okay, so the new moon is really not passive, it's actually quite active, and it does engage you, but from a sense and a standpoint that is easily forsaken from the ego's mind side of things. So around the new moon, the best, I would say, tactic if you are having this anxiousness is to try to unhinge and detach and reform your mind, to give that that energy maybe a rest if you can, or even just another platform or a sort of course to move along, okay, that would be healthy. So let's say if you're also trying to really figure something out around a new moon, maybe try to have a sort of activity space where your mind can be at work, but it won't be sort of working for you and making you feel that you're working towards your goal. Because like we say, right, it's really a time where spirit is also, and your higher self is asking of you, like, I need a break. I need a break to be able to really understand what I'm investing in this experience, because we'll never just be going and just going and going and going. We'll always be in that space of reinvigorating our cause. Again, to do that, it's about the cyclicalism and appreciating the yin to the yang. So yeah, but that's this is probably a time, if you have a lot of Leo, a lot of fire, this is a time where you can really get very irritated. You can get really spun out when you're not being fit, when you feel like you can't really just jump out there, and if you feel like things are slowing down, that could just be very, very annoying. And then the air in your chart may be sort of flaring up and you're just overthinking, and so it's kind of feeling like stuck in an airport of sorts. That's sometimes how it can feel when you're in a new moon, especially a water new moon, and especially Cancer. But yet again, it's so important. Like we say, you'll look back on this and really appreciate the parts of you that you gathered around this time. Okay, yeah, recollecting, reconnecting with the pieces of I'm hearing your presence. So it's about being present, and it's about grounding. Hey, Surfer Maui girl. Hi, everybody here. So yeah, I'm hearing Brennan, Brianna. Some of you here, you may have a lot of fire. It's like, it's very challenging to slow down. How many of you do have a lot of fire? So yeah. Cancer is also about roots. It is about the beginnings. It's about the humbler energies. So Spirit is saying it is, just as much important to connect within. Maybe you've been very extroverted, and Spirit is saying, your higher self is encouraging you to remember to gather, okay, your experiences. Otherwise, we can start to really just carry life out from this quantity versus quality. It's also really important to understand, like, are the people around me reflecting? Are they nourishing those ideals that I have that I really want to work towards, or am I just perpetuating their paradigm? Do I observe their paradigm from my own lens, or am I sort of just continuing the ethic that they think other people should preach on to others, okay, and keep as a cycle that ultimately spins out and doesn't serve anybody? So this is about also understanding where shadow, toxic, patriarchal energies lie. And this is because, like we say, right, Cancer thrives on the axis to Capricorn. Capricorn thrives on the axis to Cancer. It's not about eradicating the paternal archetype, but you have to have the intention of the feminine to be able to serve, to give space for the masculine to serve, the yang to serve. It's like, if I don't have my intention, okay, why would I have a stage, right? So Spirit is saying, like, for that to be more of a flow state, okay, experience of continuity, where you are echoing your passion, okay, as a sort of how do we say, like a precursor to, okay, the actual presence you hold in 3D, so that you're not just manifesting just like on the astral, because yeah, that can also happen. You really want to sort of understand who you are also as a divine feminine. That doesn't mean gender, right? So if you, let's say, are someone who is naturally very much in your masculine energy, you could be a feminine, but you could be a fire sign, or you have a lot of fire in your chart. You have 5 planets in the house of fire, 9th, 1st, okay, or 5th. Then you may just find it very challenging to shift into that feminine, but it is important, right, to remember that you are always both. So that's why when people say, are you like a feminist? Are you like a this? Are you that? No, because I mean, that's like saying only yin would exist or only yang would exist. There's no like, feminist, right? So it's just about understanding that you may have a propensity, right? It's like, certain animals, have their certain propensities, okay? Like certain types of animals need to do, that's in their blood, but there is still this broader, okay, scope of we all see as one. I hear that as well. Okay, so yeah, you're not unintentional in that space, but you are expected to sort of return to a sense and a state of seeing yourself as a story of all tales. I hear it like that, told out from your perspective. So that means consciously holding all vibrations. Okay, both yin and yang, both yin and both yang. So that could be really hard. I mean, the thing is, sometimes we think like, I'm feeling like really like this or like that, but it's really about how you're embracing the duality. If you find you have trouble with the new moons, it may be that you have this sort of resistance to your inner yin energy. Okay. And so at the end of the day, right, you want to know if you have an imbalance, right? Because we're here to hold balanced perception of self. And so it's kind of like, yeah, a blessing, right? When we feel what does come up at that new moon, because it allows us to also remind ourselves that we are in that, I'm hearing naturally so, that trinity, okay, energy, that very balanced core energy. But sometimes we tend to fall prey to our human 3D genome, okay, that tells us that we are what we maybe literally see. So that would be especially prominent. The new moon and full moon in Cancer, Capricorn archetypes may really bring up so-called gender, so-called issues where people, let's say, you start thinking, about more about that. Okay, maybe things come up where you're starting to realize, like, maybe I am feeling uncomfortable around this time. I feel like I want to express more of this aspect of myself, but then something in, let's say, my programming has conflict to that. Maybe even perceives it as a nuisance. So where are we, though, honoring that that's just as important, right, as who it is that we would justify our experience for, okay, or by in the so-called future. Like, what matters to me today will matter to others tomorrow. I hear it like that. So it's really key that you're also understanding who you want to be in this dimension. It's really important that you're not, forsaking that. I hear it in this way. Okay, just forgetting that as well. And that's why we have the new moon and the full moon, to remind us just from different perspectives who we really are, okay, but are not necessarily, okay, wanting or needing to be. Okay, so, and that's very challenging, because especially if you're a very, let's say, let's just say you have a lot of Capricorn, or you have a lot of, and you're used to, fire, let's say fire, or very more public energy, public-centric energy, Aquarius, Capricorn, fire, Leo. You're probably used to being very, let's just kind of do this, let's just get this going. But then, you still have, okay, your home, okay, your home to tend to, your inner sanctuary. It's not all about, okay, being that person to also the world and to others. You have to sort of understand how it is that you will create, truly, because you can create, okay, but there are different forms of creativity. So and that's why sometimes, people feel, well, I'm very successful, but I'm not happy, or I am creating, but I'm not feeling creative. Well, Yeah, because it's about how it is that you allow yourself to take yourself out of that space of who you are as you create. So much of it is not what you create, but who you are as you're creating. Okay, are you the person you want to be when you're creating whatever you're creating? And so that's where it's really important to listen to yourself at these times. Am I feeling pinned in with how it is that I've told others that I want to be in this dimension? Have you made also maybe promises that don't work for you? These types of things. Yeah, there's beeping. It's like a heart line. So, yeah. A lot of subconscious things, like, you know, a lot of people feeling kind of like uncomfortable. You know, it's like, well, you know, not willing to admit though, right? A lot of people here, especially people who are not into, let's say, astrology, and they're not into, but they'll be naturally, it'll be this tension right now, okay? Like, you know, for instance, someone who is denying their feminine energy and they're in the very masculine, they may have a burnout. You know, they may have just an absolute burnout at this time. You know, being very aggressive, the shadow of fire energy, the shadow of Saturn as well. I mean, Saturn is also retrograde, which is the opposer to this new moon. So yeah, it's just a time where, I just would lay back and just kind of not really see anyone really as who they really appear as, because a lot of people are very triggered right now, and not because of anyone outside of them, but because of that very personal conflict that they may have, that consideration that they have yet to consider, okay, as important for themselves, like the self-love energy. So don't be triggered by how other people dismiss their own, also their needs, their inner child needs, the needs of their inner child, of their own inner child. I'm hearing Calvin Klein. This also goes for people who believe that they're very happy, but they're very troubled. You know, it's like they're in this illusion, like, yeah, this is who I am. It's like, but they're not happy. It's like, okay, so that's for them to figure out. Like, all of that is really not your concern. Okay, but as someone who's very sensitive to energy, you'll be picking up again on how others are processing, how all are processing this one archetype of Cancer at this time, this one facet of how we find ourselves in a state of self-love. So yeah, anyhow, guys, maybe we'll come back. Like, personally though, like, I'll say, I mean, I'm just really this is very, like, it's a bit uncomfortable. It's very watery right now, very uncomfortable, kind of like a nuisance-y energy transit. I gotta be honest. I mean, South Node for me is Cancer. My South Node's Cancer, and I'm a sun sign Pisces. These transits are hitting all of my personal planets. Personally, my rising Scorpio, Pluto. Let's back it up. Thrushar. The ruler of my North Node. But anyways, return to sender. Let's clear the energy. And people here also trying to come in, try to hit you at your weak point. So that's something also to be aware of. Like, there could be people coming in trying to cause you issues, drama. These are subtle entity energies, right? Like, who just don't have a place, don't have really a space. Otherwise they'd be a more routine part of your game plan. Like, they're irrelevant to you, so they're just sort of cropping up when, you know, these softer, okay, energy portals are moved through. So just kind of return to sender, clear your energy, let them move where they move to, and let them realize, the truth for themselves, that you're not really interested anymore. I hear that as well, right? These are the past life energies as well. They're just floating by. Okay, you just imagine you're in some submarine and it's like you're seeing all these creatures at the bottom of the ocean. It's like, let them just pass by. Like, it is what it is, love and light, or whatever, debris. It's like, we're just moving through. It's a transition period. So it's like you probably picking up on how a lot of people here are also projecting what they're going through, and it's like, that's none of anybody's problem. If you're going through something, go through it. Everybody has what they're going through to go through. So if you're focused on another person, you can't get your own oxygen mask on. A lot of people are not willing to admit that that is the truth. Okay, that oh no, like, I really need to, like, talk to you right now. No. You need to talk to you right now. And so you need to, some of you really return people back to, like we say, sender, really turn people around. You got to turn them down by, just kind of because yeah, right now people's like really shadow, even toddler side is going to be rearing up. People are going to be very much insisting that you're the problem, that you're an issue here. No, you have an issue that's coming up right now as we all are working alongside ourselves here. Okay, it's called shadow work. So I'm not responsible for how you're going to see your life play out. Okay, and right now we're all here. Yeah, it's a beautiful time to introspect, but many people have trouble with that. So many people have trouble working with their inner divine feminine energy and making sure that they are owning that. Okay, that contest so-called with their higher self, where their ego is not pivoting in and portraying their feminine as they would not actually, should they see it as a source code conversation point. So yeah, it's really like kind of controversial, this, because these shadow masculine tendencies do want to sort of creep in and sort of compromise where you are ascending and rebalancing, recalibrating your feminine to your masculine. Okay, so let's clear. Let's just back it up, return to center. Yeah, a lot of people here also like realizing that you are ascending. They'll feel it subtly, okay, and they need to move on. Okay, yeah, these people here are very clingy. I see a lot of clingers, shadow hashtag clingers to your prodigy energy. I'm going to say it like that. Many of you here, you're about to just honestly hit ceilings with your career. I'm here in junior. It's like you have nothing to prove to, you have nothing to talk about, prove to, explain to nobody. Some of you, you're about to just kind of, yeah, let's crown. They're very triggered that you don't want to take their advice. Sorry. Yeah. No. So, okay. Yeah. Some of you, this is the Libra 2023. I'm here, Tobias. It's like someone here is very triggered that you did not want them to edit your paper. It's like, can we think about that for a second? Like you got something going on up there. Okay, yeah, something like that for some of you. Somebody is like trying to hook on to your crown chakra as well. I hear like that. It's kind of tacky, this. It's like, it's real tacky, the way that you just want to kind of talk about something so that, yeah, when we're all talking at the portal head next month, I hear specifically, then you'll be talking alongside us. It's like someone who doesn't want to actually put in the work in the beginning stages, doesn't want to help. Yeah, this is really shallow. So some of you have to kick some people out here of your conversation because it could be a contract thing, because they're not really putting in nothing here. Okay, let's get down to it. So don't be shy to kind of, yeah, clean up, yeah, your arena, because it's your stage. I hear like that. Let's remember that. Okay, people here wanting like, yeah, I'm here in the first. People are acting like, yeah, I'm here in first. I'm first. I don't know what that's about. It could even be people who are trying, yeah, whatever. I'm here in skeletons. Now, that could literally be like some of you starting a business. Like, you don't really need anyone here. I hear that in the beginning stages, but they all want to sort of like invest in your business. But it's like they're not really investing much. Like, it's something that you could have given to yourself. It's kind of like redundant. It's kind of repetitive. I wouldn't take on anyone new as well for funding or investment in the last month to the next few. I would wait for that until October if you're doing anything with contracts with anyone new. I wouldn't have anything to do with nobody who's new here during Neptune, Pluto retro, Saturn retro, unless you want a court case in 15 years. I hear like that. I wouldn't do anything with nobody new. Like, if you've met them for the very first time during Neptune, Pluto, Saturn retrograde. Challenging because, though, yeah, this is a retro season. Retro season feels very portal-ish. It feels very destined, but it doesn't mean that it's sitting on your desk in a good way, okay? It's kind of a test sometimes, right? We don't just take every opportunity that comes our way, but that's a test from spirit. It's also really important to clear. So, yeah. I see this period of Saturn retro really about also reorienting, re-navigating our relationship with our assets, our finances, our future. Yeah, so much of that. We'll get more in that on members. we'll talk more about Saturn retro. I think we may even have a video on that on hourly astrology. We went into that, but we'll get more on that on members. The actual astrology side, I'm here at Pharaohs. Yeah, so let's not too surprising. It's obvious that we would also go all the way back with a Saturn retro. We dig it all up with that big shovel that we place on the shelf from the ethers of Egypt. Okay, the ethers of Egypt. Wow. So many of you meeting really let's clear up, see some shadow energy, really shady people here, people who you just know, but it's like you wish you didn't have to really reveal that. Like, it's embarrassing, maybe even a little bit. Like on the astral plane, it's like you feel that they're a past life connection, but it's like you really need to just kind of clear them, but it's like they're lingering. It's like it's just really it's kind of just dense. It's very heavy. It's like on its way out. It's very out of sync. It's like a tango that's just not it's not good. It's not a good dance. You don't want to dance that. You don't want to dance. The song is not good. It's off. The beat is off kind of energy. It's like that person is really on their way out of your timeline. So it's these last night, maybe something happened last night for some, but these last minute stragglers. Okay. It's kind of just, it's like little tests, it's little fleas. Okay, it's just a nuisance energy, honestly. And, I mean, hello, everybody has the right, for those of you, oh, that's very mean. No, everybody has the right to pass a judgment. I don't want to interact with that person anymore. I don't want that person energy growing in my garden. You heard? Get that vibration out of your love and light. This is not energy rape. We're not doing that, no. Just because we did that. You have the right to banish energies, yes. If you, God forbid, you have a cold, that's like saying you don't have the right to get over it. Just because the bacteria is there, but you got it. No, you form a resistance to the bacteria. Should that be your will, right? You have so this is your will to reimagine your own consciousness with or without this person in the conversation, okay? This person's so insistent. But I'm hearing it's embarrassing. It's like someone who's trying to... This could be someone who was very controlling in a past life. Like maybe they were a pharaoh, maybe they were a father figure, whatever. It's like they're maybe trying to embarrass you. It's like very clingy and creepy even. I don't know. Okay, it's just so something about Egypt specifically may be coming up. If you have timelines in Egypt that you are aware of, specifically, you probably do. If you're watching this channel, you go way back. Not that Egypt doesn't exist anymore, but you know what I mean. Ancient Egypt, yeah. This is let's go throw chakra. I'm here with Cleopatra. Ancient Egypt. Okay, yeah. Someone wanted to own your dynastic rule book, handbook. Like you wrote some shit down. It's like that's yours. Okay, so this is about owning your content as well. I know some people get real sensitive about that, but why wouldn't we own our content? Can we start questioning the so-called system? Yeah, the system of your beliefs, that is, right? Why would you believe that you need someone to own your content? That's part of the problem. Yeah, like when people say, well, this is the industry, like everybody does it this way, you need someone to represent you. I don't know. I'm hearing I don't know. Okay, says your spirit guys. So, and some of you maybe are having trouble with your career or even your finances, and they're saying, take a look at where it is that you're still allowing people in who do not actually have the right to that conversation that you're having with your higher self in the way that you are having it at this present moment. Because imagine you having it at a much higher, decibel. It's inappropriate that anyone would even be remotely near your consciousness, there at that point in time. Where you now hold space for yourself. Like, this is really key, because if you should explain it otherwise to yourself and delude yourself in knowing that you really need maybe space from certain people, and intuitively you know, like, I need to create my own creative energy space, and I need to feel creative, but in my very personal way. Like, I don't want anyone infiltrating that. If you still, you know, keep the mantra alive that others will build your momentum with you in that space, it will be very, very challenging. Let's clear up. Sacral in the root. It will be very heavy. It'll feel burdensome otherwise. What you would create naturally on your own. And that might be even in terms of relationships. Some of you here may decide, like, I want to get out of a partnership because I just don't feel like myself. I hear like that. Let's go in the crown chakra. Saturn rules, yeah, bonds. Some of you, this is like all kinds of different things, but yeah, some of you may decide, like, I have to get out of this relationship. You're realizing, like, the matrix debris, like, of, yeah, your mantra around whatever that is. Like, why is it that I believe I need someone in my life? Like, even, you know, where has that come from? Okay, some of you here, you're gonna go solo, independent, like, okay, eradicating the idealistic energy of something that's not true for you. Why would I idealize something that's not real to me? To whom does that do any kind of favor? So that's a real question. Like, we need to identify who, because, yeah, otherwise we'll just allow, yeah, storylines to speak for themselves and not ourselves first as director. The first line, written by us, okay, that says that we are the creator of our reality and that we are directing and casting each character here in the play. So this is realizing where people have sort of spoken over us. Okay, this is very abstract. This is very, very shadow, even. How do we say it's shadow work? So based. So if you have a very strong ego, you're probably not going to be so privy to these messages. You may resist this theme here that we're working with right now. Just if you're curious, like, why this is maybe not sinking in as a download right now for you, is because you may be sort of like challenging, okay, with the ego, what your higher self needs right now. If that is the case, I would maybe just, I would give it time. Probably in about a week, you'll feel more open to these energies once the new moon sort of slows down, and then we speed up into the yang energy of the first stage. The first quarter moon, right in between the new moon to the first quarter moon. You'll feel less defensive about what comes up with the new moon once we're really close to that first quarter. Usually, sometimes, it depends, not always. It really depends on the energies and other transits overlapping, over and underlapping, we'll say. Energies and transits you come in with, that you leave out with, that you begin even during, so a lot of faster moving transits, slower moving, but we'll talk more on members, possibly. Many of you also have, like, crazy abilities that, I mean, your guides, they want you to know that it's not that you're not manifesting your talent. You're always manifesting. It's just there's something so kind of just it's just not suiting your creative talent. It's in relation to your story right now. It's not something that you're doing or saying. It's something in relation to what you're doing. How do we say? Some of you, this is literally like your finances are gonna skyrocket when you release someone from your story here. Okay, so once you really banish someone out here, because Spirit is saying, like, these energies, like, how do we say this? I'm gonna draw up a metaphor here. You really want to dance a very fast dance, but you just ate a very heavy meal. But you got that dance down, you know what it is, and you really want to do it, but it's like you keep hanging out with your friends who are eating these really heavy meals. Maybe that's like a literal message. Please talk to your personal practitioner, but maybe Spirit wants you to, like, literally detox. Around the new moon is more of a detoxy energy, right? So it's not a bad time if you are thinking about doing such a thing. Maybe talk to your practitioner around this time. Maybe ask them, or look into that, naturopath, alternative, Yeah, but, Don't expect to not be faced with some resistance here and there. Like, you obviously, as you detox, you're releasing entity attachment cord, at least. If I'm seeing shadow energy. If not cords themselves, if not that you're releasing entity. If it's not that you're releasing entities, it's that you're releasing the entity attachment cord points. So you're making yourself less susceptible to cordal attachments. That's controversial. It's kind of like, hey, I was like stealing money from your account. It's like, yeah, I'm going to close that shit up and I'm going to change the password. I'm going to get a new card. It's like, that's kind of what it's like. So you have to be really kind of ready to hear that. As with any detox, literally, like in terms of physical symptoms, right? Usually a detox doesn't feel very fun in the beginning. It's called Herxheimer's reaction. Read up on that if you are going to do a detox. It's interesting to think of it like in terms of energy. But yeah, some of you are going to meet someone new, but you got some friends around you, some people around you, so-called friends, I'll say so-called. It's like they're in the wrong room with you. I don't know how to say this. Like, it's like it's like spirits waiting to have a conversation with you, but you got to get these other people out of the room, because it's like, something is going on with the vibration. They're holding your vibration like lower. Like, you are naturally, there's a certain metaphor, like, you're naturally very, it's like, maybe you think you're doing them a favor, though, but no, you're never doing someone a favor if you're doing a disservice to your own ascension. Your program looks very different from that, which, I'm seeing whoever this is, whoever these people are, like, what they have scheduled for themselves. There's nowhere I'm hearing, hell they're going where you're going to. I'm hearing in far off lands. I'm hearing something about Shrek. There's just no way. Like, they're just not coming with you. I hear like that. Like, spirit is maybe needs to just say it so clearly like that. I see kids like separating, like at school, they have to go to different classes, it's like, you're going to a different school, maybe literally, like, you have to just be separated, maybe an astral school. Yeah, you're graduating, it's okay to graduate, like, you gotta move on from some of these people. That's what I'm hearing. 144 likes, 212 in the room. So it's like a weird period, though, it's like that moment where you're about to separate from them, but then it's like, am I really gonna separate from them? It could even be quite traumatic, possibly. Separations and cord removals are very challenging on the system of the ego. Very hard, because we need to survive